Hi, I'm Luke Sherville. Welcome to another episode of Meet the Gaffer. We're going to be talking about the Aputure 60D and the 60X. Jan, my wife, has been nice enough to sit in with me, and we just had a 3-camera shoot here. We're at the dining room table. We've done this before, but now we've got some different lights to show. So the idea is to have a little shootout with a light that is similar for our main light here in the middle of the table.
You can see these two units playing together, and they're just filling the bottom of that. So, and I just have them a regular arm and a short arm with a pin, and those are just out of frame.
So, well, like a lot of dining room tables, you've got a nice soft light in the middle, and then maybe you have some accents around. So that's what we're going with here, and we're doing it at night so that we're not competing with ambient outside light. Now, I did add some light like here to the tablecloth at the front, and then I gave a little edge light to Jan, and I put a light, added a light to a practical that's in the kitchen, and then we've got a NYX bulb in, so that's an Astera NYX bulb, and that's in the corner there. And then for controlling these lights, I'm actually combining the Sidus app with Blackout. So both apps that I can run at the same time on my iPad Pro. The reason is that the 60D and 60X don't run off DMX, but they run off Sidus. And whereas the data, that can be DMXable. So, you know, those, we can go over the differences between the units, but these are similar in that you can control them remotely. All right, so just turning everything off, just so you see that. And I had the dado on at 100. So let's bring the dado back. So there's the dado at 100. And if we meter that, we've got a 2.8 coming out of there. And color-wise, we've got 2900, so about 3000 Kelvin. And then just so you see it, we can bring the other lights up. So here we go with, so that would be the NYX bulb all the way up. It's a little toasty, so we'll bring that back down. So there's 25. And then go to the Sidus app. I bring all fixtures up. And then I'm going to bring those down. So take this one off. Okay. And now, just so you can see what the different ones are doing, here is, that is the tablecloth here. And then here is a little scratch on Jan. That's coming back. And then here is a little extra light in the kitchen. So there's a practical in there, but then this is a little extra on the back wall. So there, those are all up. Now, we want to compare this center light. This is 100% on the dado, and now we're going to transition to the 60X, because the dado is a bicolor unit, so is the 60X. And now let's do that. So first off, I'll bring up the 60X here. So boom, that comes on, and then that's too bright, so we'll take down the dado, and now this should be similar. No, okay, that's a little too bright. So that's 2.8 and a half, 2/3 even. So let's go to Sidus. Let's take this down. So it's at 68%. We're going to come down . Whoops, too much. Okay, so that's at 46%. And that gives us similar to what we had with with the dado. Now the dado, it's rated at sort of a 90 watt unit. It runs, if you test it, you know, wattage wise, it's 80-85, and then the 60D or 60X anyway, at it tungsten, you know, 3200, it is running at about 55 watts. So it's a 60 watt unit on paper, 55 watts when it's in tungsten mode. So yeah, you've got a 30 watt difference, but you've got, you know, a much newer unit, and so optimized. You're getting more light per watt apparently, from what I am experiencing here. So if I were to bring the 60X all the way up, you know, this is under 50%. If I brought it to 100%, there would be your output. So now we're all a little toasty, but that's nice to know that you've got all that output. So let's bring that back down, and there I'm again at 2.8. And so let's talk a little bit about these units. Just you know, fit and finish, the feel of the dado. These have been fantastic lights, really. You know, it's not a Fresnel. It's got this convex front and just very compact, but you add to this a controller. So I don't know if I can pull it off here, but so you know, you get this controller, and it has the readout here for your dimming and your Kelvin, and you have nice controls on off, but it's an extra thing that you have to hang on the stand or whatever. But the nice thing is, if you're not doing it remotely, then you can put this down by you, and it's easy to get to. I haven't put a antenna on it. You know, that's another $500 thing. But of course, well, there's other options, but you know, this is a really robust option, and that gives you wireless capability. Not that you need that all the time, but anyway, these have been a great travel light. They've just been a real workhorse, and having that bicolor, you just be able to, you know, bring your color in that you want, and you're done. So, and then in comparison, you have the Aputure. This is the 60D, and the 60D is just daylight, and you know, fully dimmable, but it's daylight. There's no, you know, tuning the white. You need to have gel for that. So the 60X, tunable and dimmable. The difference here with the dado, you know, size-wise, the dado is definitely smaller, but the Aputure has the ballast and control all incorporated in the unit. So, and then it has a V-mount adapter, so I can make that a V-mount right here, cable to it, and you're done. There's no need for anything else. So, but it also has an AC adapter, and then you can put it to mains power. The other cool thing here is that you can pop off the doors, you can put on a Bowens mount adapter, and now you've got all kinds of modifiers you can put on. Down the pike, there will be a sort of mount here to, you know, projection lens, like a ellipsoidal type, but I'm not quite sure what that's going to look like. Obviously, that is something that everybody enjoys about the dado lights as well. They have great projection intensifiers, the cuttable kind and the kind that you can put GoPros in. So, you know, still a great workhorse, but now I kind of feel like, hey, I've got a similar unit that works very much like it, but then also works within the ecosystem of the Aputure lights that I have, and whereas this, you know, works in the ecosystem of the DMXable lights that I have. So it's an interesting comparison. You know, you have a good amount of output, and there are more adapters coming. So all in all, yeah, you know, I really appreciate the 600D for all its output, but a unit like this is super handy. Here I'll show you just some footage of being on another shoot where the last minute we're like, hey, we need a quick little backlight. We've got a person sitting at the desk. Can we get it over there? And I'm like, yes, we can attach it to the door, and I can put a battery on it. You won't see any cables, and boom, we were done just like that. With this unit, you can totally do that. So just a real handy last minute, let's pop in another little light, and yeah, away you go. So let me just show you a little bit here. You've probably seen this before, but this is an AKS box with Ethernet and Ethernet cable. That's just my particularity, so that I don't have any latency with changing stuff. So iPad Pro, the interface for Sidus is really nice, a little bit larger, you know, on an iPad Pro, and then also easy to go to Blackout, and yeah, that's my go-to controller app. But the fact that I can run both of them at the same time, pretty awesome. And then here, just have a little monitor with the Hollyland 400S Pro, and that's just making the little wireless jump to the ATEM Mini Pro ISO, which is recording all these units at 1080 so that the edit is really quick. So that's what we got going. Thanks for watching. Thank you, Jan, for sitting in, and we'll see you again next time.
So here we are set up in the dining room, and we've got a BGH1, and that was on the teleprompter, but flap that down. And then over here, we've got the ATEM Mini Pro ISO, and it is running the outfeed via the Hollyland 400S Pro, and that is sending it off to the table there where the monitor is. And then we have here another, this is a GH5S, and that's capturing Jan. And then we have the GH5, and that is on me. So what we added here in the kitchen, we have just an extra little MC that's on the background there, and that's adding to this regular practical. And then we've got a little MC on the ground, that's getting the front here. And then we have a NYX bulb, and the NYX bulb is not at full percent at all. It's 25%. So that's what we've got going. Here you can see these two units playing together, and they're just filling the bottom of that. So, and I just have them a regular arm and a short arm with a pin, and those are just out of frame there.
Rather than light the scene with separate soft boxes and everything in different units, I wanted to see if we could use that same unit from above with the translucent disc and see how that would work. This was a fun experiment.